Das Forum Nordicum wird unterstützt durch die Deutsche Avia Mineralöl GmbH.
Good morning. And can you see our presentation, which we are sharing?
Yes, we can.
Super. That is a good start. So then let's just introduce ourselves for 1 second. I'm Christian. I'm the Director for Corporate Communications and Public Affairs here in the IOC. So with our team, we are responsible for the corporate communication side of things, obviously. So at the games, we are your interlocutor when it comes to questions you have to communication overall. With me is Bernardo, who is head of communication for the Olympic Games. And Lucia, maybe you do a quick introduction yourself, because you're not in the communications team as such, but in the wider communication team.
Well, yes, and we work a lot together. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be back at the Forum Nordicum. I've been there before the Games of Vancouver, so many years ago, and I know how important it is for the planning of the Games to actually have an appearance with the Forum Nordicum. So happy to be back. I work in media operation at the Olympic Games. I'm within the Games department. And we liaise with the organizing committee with all of the operational aspect of media operations, starting from accreditation, accommodation, and all of that. So very happy to be back here.
So it's always good to be good friends with Lucia, because she's got the tickets and everything you need. Okay, we just wanted to look back with you for a few minutes to Paris, and we set the tone, I think, with the 3.5-minute film, which summarizes it. And brings all the emotions back. I don't think we need to say much about the film, but I want to go into a few numbers, because it's interesting to see the sheer size of the games and the sheer size of the communication of Paris, because it gives you also an indication of what we have all what we are all working on together. You on your side and us on our side. Just take a look at the spectators. It was a huge success, right? To have 9.5 out of 10 million tickets sold to the French and international audience. That was clearly something which we can consider a great success. Then it's not just the tickets sold, but you had the millions on the streets. You had the millions during the torch relay. I mean, just imagine or remember these images, and I have one image coming soon from the road race, the men's road race in front of the Montmartre. That's just amazing to see. And here the image of the Champions Park, which was a new concept. All of this really showed the appeal and the success of the games. With these numbers just confirmed that. Now, we needed to get all of what has happened in Paris also across to the world with our media rights holders. And that's the figures for broadcasting. The amount of hours produced by Olympic broadcasting services is 11,000 from the games. Now, 11,000 sounds like a number which is something, but I think if I give you another number, which is 1 year and 3 months, that's the amount of hours produced from Paris 2024 by OBS. So if you want to watch it all, you still have to go until next September, October to finish watching it all. You see how many people they used and then what technicalities they had. It's just a nice flavor, I guess, to give you again an idea of the sheer size of the operation we are working on. We also have the digital side of things. You've heard from Jens what DOSB does. We do globally the digital platforms, Olympics.com. We do all the social media handles, and you see a few numbers here, and I would pick probably two. And these numbers are, just to be clear, preliminary. We will have a report at the end of this year, probably during the IOC when we have the final numbers, but the preliminary numbers here are quite impressive. In particular, if you see that the Weapon app has reached 300 million people during Paris 2024, that's quite a number. And it was the #1 sports app in over 70 territories and in key markets, including the US, France, and Italy. And it shows you the the appeal of the games. Now, looking at your own area, and that's the media. We have here some numbers for media. If you see that we sum up the accreditations granted to written and photographic press, and if you sum up the media rights holders and Olympic broadcasting services, you come to 24,171, and Lucia counted until shortly before midnight to get that right with the last few numbers at the end. That's quite a number, right? And for written press and photographic press, which mainly you are working for, it's 5,733, which shows you 146 NOCs. That not all NOCs managed to bring a journalist to the games, but most of them, and that's really the work we are doing with the NOCs, and also the way we are granting the accreditations. And we'll come to the accreditations for Milano in just a minute when Lucia takes over. Now, we also have looked at another topic, which is gender equality within the press operations and within the media. Because as you know, the games in Paris were the first ones which were gender equal on the field of play. The IOC really distributed the same number of quota places to male and female athletes. Now, if you look at the press category, I think there is a bit of homework for all of us, and including you, to do, because we haven't advanced too much in the last few years. And if you were to split it amongst the categories, the accreditation categories, the biggest challenge is photographers, where it's only 15% of female photographers are at the games. And the best numbers are coming from actually the NOCE accreditations and the NOCES accreditations, with 39% and 45% female. So we on the Olympic movement side really do a lot to improve gender equality, and I can just encourage you, and that's the objective of these numbers, to see what you can do within your profession to help us, to work with us. And OBS, for instance, has done a huge program in order to increase the number of female staff on their side and in their team, and some media rights holders are doing a good job, and Reuters has done a good job. They really were the number one when it comes to gender equality in the press section. So I hope that that gives you a good idea what you can look at in Milano Cortina and going forward to LA. I have another slide which summarizes it. We were on track at the end of the games for more than half of the entire world population to have followed these games. These numbers were preliminary. They now need to be confirmed in the final report later this year. So they are not final yet, but that's what we said when the games came to a close. And here's the image which I talked about, and which shows the great engagement of the international and French audience with these games. I'd say that closes Paris, and we want to come briefly to Milano Cortina. 1 year to go is approaching soon. The pre-Olympic season gets underway. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for the organizing committee? It simply means that now it's time to put the plans into action and to test and to move as an organizing committee into operational mode. That is what we are going to see this winter season, and I'm sure you're going to witness it during some of the World Cups which are happening in the region. And also they are looking, and you've heard it from Luca and Andrea, I guess, for volunteers right now. The ticket sales will start. So really the games become real for the audience, for the Italian people, for the international people. But the games also become real for all of you. And with that, I turn it over to Lucia, because you need to get in touch with her in order to, or with her extended, her extended person, meaning with the NOCs, in order to get accredited. Lucia.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Christian. Yes, things are becoming more active when it comes to media planning for the Milano Cortina Games. And I think the segue from what Christian said about the engagement and the excitement and the numbers of Paris, we already see it for Milano Cortina, where the request for media accreditation is quite high. As usual for Winter Games, we've set up a quota of 3,000 accreditation for press. You see on this slide, in red is the action that has already happened, meaning that we have already communicated to the National Olympic Committees their quota of accreditation for Milano Cortina. If you want more information, you can go on the IOC website, and on that page that you see the link there is actually where you find all the information. A few points for you to remember. It's really action time. So if you've not been in contact with your NOC regarding, or your media organization has not been in contact with the NOC, it's really now the time to do it. The NOCs have received all of the forms to do the press by number phase on 2 weeks ago. And this phase of the press by number goes till the 7th of February. And this is the phase where all of the numbers of and names of the press organization are going to be communicated to Milano Cortina. So it's really action time. I heard Luca mentioning about the WordPress briefing, which is in Milano on the week of the 19th of November. And in that occasion, it will also be formally the launch of the press accommodation process and also the press rate card process. So it's very important for you really to act now. Accommodation, especially for the mountain sports, I'm sure that most of you in the room are familiar with the regions, is quite a complicated exercise to accommodate an Olympic population. So it's important you get in touch early on with accommodation with the Olympic Organizing Committee of Milano Cortina. A date for your diary is that the accommodation plan for press finishes on the 28th of February. So it's really important that you, once again, you act now. I'm not so sure, I was not connected from the beginning of Luca's intervention, so I don't know if he mentioned to you, but I think it would be important for you to understand how the mountain cluster will operate when it comes to media. There is no mountain media center. So like it was, for instance, in the past few games, there was always a hub for media in the mountain clusters. Reality is that for Milano Cortina, there are 3 enhanced media center. It means that in Tesero, which is the venue of cross country, in Cortina, which is the venue of alpine skiing, female curling, and the sliding center, and in Livigno, which is where all the snowboard and freestyle are. These media centers will operate extended hours, and there will be like media hubs for you to work. So if you will to work extended hours or days where the venue media center of Anterselva is closed, you can find a hub in Cortina for you to work, or you can find a hub in Tesero. So this is a bit of a new concept because, as you know, the concept of the Milano Cortina Games is totally new, about being quite dispersed on the 2 regions with a number of venues that are far away from the other. So just for you to understand this, it will be good for you to become familiar with the geography of the games when you look at the sports you have to cover, and in relation to where you find your accommodation or where you want your accommodation, and understand where the main media hub with the services to support your work are. And I would say that this is the main messages that I wanted to pass today. And then maybe one important email address for your notebook is pressoperations@milanocortina26.org. This is the press operation team of the organizing committee, and they can obviously, they're there to support all of the accredited media at the game. So it could be a good email address for you to have and to contact the team there. And obviously I'm available for any question you might have. So thank you very much.
Ronnie, that closes our presentation, and we'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, thanks, and thank you for this stunning presentation. I think it's for me in the moment it's hard to find any open questions to ask you, because you gave us a replay of stunning pictures from Paris, and you gave us a lot of focused informations. For me, this is my personal opinion, it was a very fresh statement the IOC and the Olympic movement showed in Paris. I mean, beginning with this opening ceremony and unbelievable pictures and performances. Before, I would like to ask you if you have any questions to the IOC guys. Is there any upgrade idea how you will handle the, let me call it, Russian problem? Because when the Olympic Winter Games come back after many years, not only to Italy, but to the Alps, to the, I would say, heart of winter sport and snow sport, Russian athletes always played an very important role in sports like cross country and all these sports. Is there any plan how to handle this problem in 26?
Ronnie, I will. Yeah, I'm on. I will take that. So far, we haven't discussed that situation yet, and we haven't got an answer to you. But you know how we handled it in Paris, when in consultation with the stakeholders of the movement, we invited these individual neutral athletes with Belarusian or Russian passport to compete at the games under strict eligibility conditions, and that's how we could ensure that athletes from the territories of all 206 NOCs and the IOC Refugee Olympic Team could be in Paris and were in Paris and lived peacefully under one roof in the Olympic Village. There wasn't a single accident or issue during the games, and that's how we could also send an important message from the Olympic Village to the world. And in this way, we could also ensure that the games are contributing to this culture of peace, what we always talk about, and not deepen confrontation. Now, for Milano Cortina, we will build on this when the world's best athletes come together in next year in peaceful competition on ice and snow then. And the precise modalities have not been discussed, but will be decided and discussed in due course. But as per the qualification criteria, which you might have seen and which are public on our website, all qualification events must be completed by no later than the 18th of January 2026, which is the entry by name for the games of Milano Cortina. So that's where we are. So it's, if you want, the answer is going to come.
Okay, so perfect, and hopefully the whole political situation will clear up a little bit. So nothing else from my side. May I ask you, do you have any questions we should send to the Olympic specialists? Okay, so far, Thorsten?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you to our friends from the IOC that you was waiting for us for half an hour. And after that delay that you informed us so completely, and with beauty shots from Paris, we remember all together with a lot of fun. Next year, this is an information, we will stay in Val di Fiemme 5 months before the Olympic Games begin. In September, we will be there, and we are very happy, or we're proud to invite you to also for this 46th Forum Nordicum then in Italy. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all the informations. And this, unfortunately, normally our guests get a package of sweets. This is the problem when we are by Teams or Zoom. We can only send you a picture. This is.
We save it.
But we can. You have heard the guys clap their hands. We can give you a big applause, and we will save it for next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Das Forum Nordicum wird unterstützt durch die deutsche Avia Mineralöl GmbH.